When you feel tired of trying, remember this. There comes a point in every journey when your strength feels empty. When you've given your all, and it still doesn't seem enough. When you start asking yourself, what's the point? You've been patient. You've worked hard. You've kept your head up through storms that others never even saw. And still, nothing seems to move. That's when the quiet battle begins. Not against the world, but within yourself. Because exhaustion isn't just physical, it's emotional. It's spiritual. It's the weight of hope slowly fading under the pressure of time. But listen to me, and listen carefully. Tired doesn't mean weak. Tired means you've been fighting. It means you've been showing up, even when no one was watching. It means you still care, even when your heart is worn out. You see, the world glorifies beginnings and victories, but few ever talk about the middle. That long stretch where nothing seems to work, where everything feels stuck. That's where your character is forged. That's where real strength is born. So if you're tired, it doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're in the middle of your story, the part that defines how it will be told later. Take a breath. Step back if you need to. Rest, but don't quit. Because even when you can't see progress, something inside you is still growing. Every small effort, every quiet attempt, every single day you choose to try again, it's building you, the strongest people you've ever admired. They all had moments like this, moments where they sat alone, questioning everything, wondering if it was worth it. But they kept going, not because they weren't tired, but because they believed that someday this pain would make sense. And it did. The truth is, the climb doesn't get easier, you get stronger. You stop chasing perfection and start embracing persistence. You stop needing results today and start trusting the process. You stop proving yourself to others and start proving your faith to yourself. And when that happens, the weight you carry begins to change. It doesn't disappear, but it becomes meaningful. So if you're tired, rest your mind. You've done enough for today. You fought hard enough for this moment. But don't confuse rest with surrender. Tomorrow will ask you to rise again. And when it does, you will. Not because you're never tired, but because you've learned that the tired version of you can still move mountains. Remember this, you were never meant to have endless strength. You were meant to discover what still lives in you when your strength runs out. That's where purpose begins. That's where growth starts. That's where your story becomes real. So take one more breath. Take one more step, even if it's small, even if it's slow, because tired is temporary. But who you become because of it, that lasts forever. And maybe right now you can't see where this is all leading. That's all right. Growth doesn't announce itself. It happens quietly, beneath the surface where no one claps for you. And no one notices the battles you fight alone. But someday you'll look back and realize that every night you almost gave up was shaping the version of you that never will. There's beauty in the unseen. In the days when all you can do is show up. In the moments when your effort feels invisible, but your heart keeps beating for something bigger, because progress isn't always visible. Sometimes it's the moment you decide to keep going instead of walking away. Sometimes it's the simple act of refusing to let despair win. And I know you're tired of waiting, tired of hoping, tired of believing in something that hasn't yet happened. But listen, the waiting isn't empty. It's the space where strength is built. It's where you learn to walk by faith, not by sight. You see, everyone wants to arrive, but few understand the sacredness of becoming. The person you're meant to be isn't born in victory. They're born in the days when you're stretched, tested, and pushed beyond your comfort. So let yourself feel tired. It means you're alive. It means you're doing something that matters. But after you rest, rise again. Even if your steps are slow, rise. Even if your heart still aches, rise. Because persistence is not about power. It's about faith, faith that the effort is never wasted, faith that the pain has a purpose, faith that what you can't see yet is already taking shape. One day you'll wake up and realize you made it through, not because it was easy, but because you refused to stop. And that quiet refusal, that's what greatness is built on. So tonight, rest your soul, let the world spin without you for a while. You've done enough for today. And when the morning light touches your face, whisper to yourself, I'm still here, still trying, because that right there is the sound of strength, not the roar of victory, but the quiet breath of endurance. And when you rise tomorrow, don't expect the world to suddenly change. Change doesn't always announce itself with thunder. Sometimes it whispers, in the way your heart feels just a little lighter, in the way your steps don't shake as much, in the way your hope begins to return, quietly, gently. That's how renewal begins. Not as an explosion, but as a breath. The same breath you thought you'd lost, finding its way back into you. You don't need to see the finish line. You just need to take the next step, because every time you move forward, even by an inch, you are proving something extraordinary, that your spirit is stronger than your struggle. Remember, the mountain never gets smaller. You simply learn how to climb better. You find your rhythm. You learn where to rest. You discover that the same weight that once broke you is now building you. And someday, when you stand at the top, when you finally see how far you've come, you'll understand that every moment of exhaustion, every tear, every doubt was not a detour. It was the path itself. You were never just trying. You were transforming, and every bit of tiredness was carving strength into your soul. So when you feel tired of trying, remember this: you are not at the end. You are in the process of becoming unbreakable. Take one more breath, one more step, and trust that this moment, right now, is proof that you still have what it takes, because strength isn't found in how loud you fight. It's found in how quietly you rise again and again, no matter how tired you are. You've made it through every day you thought you couldn't, and you will again. And one day, you'll realize something powerful, that it was never about winning every battle. It was about staying in the fight long enough to remember who you are. You'll see that the strength you've been searching for was never waiting at the finish. It was quietly growing in the moments you refused to stop walking. Because the truth is, life doesn't reward speed. It rewards endurance. It honors the ones who keep showing up even when no one notices. Even when the results are invisible. Even when the applause never comes. That's where true courage lives, in the silent persistence of an ordinary soul who refuses to give up. So don't let your tiredness convince you that you're not progressing. Sometimes the most important steps you'll ever take are the ones that look like standing still. The ones where your only job is to not quit today, and that's enough. Because the person who refuses to quit cannot be defeated. Every day you choose to rise again, you're becoming someone your past self would look at in awe. You're becoming proof that quiet persistence is stronger than noise, stronger than doubt, stronger than fear. You might not see it yet, but your strength is inspiring someone else right now. Someone who's watching, someone who's tired, just like you, and sees your light through their own fog. You are not just surviving, you are lighting the way. That's the thing about purpose. You rarely feel it when you're living it. It doesn't arrive with a sign or a perfect moment. It's something you carry inside you as you move through the imperfect ones. So don't rush the story. Don't curse the waiting. Every delay, every detour, every silence is still a part of the plan. There will come a day when everything makes sense. When all the confusion and all the exhaustion come together like puzzle pieces. And you'll see that every time you kept going, you were building the version of yourself that was strong enough to handle what's next. Until then, keep your heart open. Keep your faith steady. Keep your pace gentle, because no one becomes unbreakable overnight. You become it step by step, tear by tear, breath by breath. And though you might feel weary now, remember, this is what becoming stronger feels like. Someday, you'll look back at this season of your life and whisper, "That's where I found myself again." And one day, when you rise again, you'll see it clearly. The pain that once felt endless was building your strength all along. The struggle you hated was shaping your purpose. The nights you thought would break you were teaching you how to bend without falling. You'll look back and realize, you didn't get here because it was easy. You got here because even when you were tired, you kept showing up. And though the world may never see your quiet battles, you'll know what it took. You'll feel it in the peace that lives inside your scars. That's what real strength is. Not in never falling, but in rising every single time you do. So if you're tired tonight, don't quit. Rest, breathe, then rise again. Because tired doesn't mean finished. It means you're still fighting for what matters. And one day, You'll thank this version of yourself, the one who refused to give up, because this, right here, was the moment you became stronger than you ever knew. That's clean, powerful, and emotionally final. A single heartbeat of truth to end your video on silence.